So what is this O.T.K thing? What's his name? Rich Campbell? O.T.K streamer Rich Campbell. Why would you not give me the actual drama write-up? He's dating Mia Malkova, lol. You want the whole account? Okay, this is the person who just said that she's getting death threats. Isn't that one of Asmon's good friends? Well, Asmongold probably has a lot of friends in the industry, right? Asmongold is like super connected and well-known and beloved and stuff. Asmongold's a conservative, and even I like him. Rich and I had a very up and down, on and off friendship and relationship before he started toward the end of his career in the Call of Duty desk. Our physical relationship started in Columbus, Ohio in 2019, was a disaster from there. Without going into extensive detail, because that's what would be required to explain it, there were several times during the 4 years he made it clear he only viewed me as a sexual object. But when I would confront him about it, I would get love-bombed and gaslit into thinking he cared about me and wanted to be with me. This would happen during the single periods of my life, and any time I would be in a relationship and he would text or call me, I would tell him that I was seeing someone else after he lied to me about having a girlfriend for an extended amount of time in June of 2021. I didn't speak to him or see him until he called me asking to apologize around the end of July/beginning of August. I always had a deep love for Rich as a person and friend. At the beginning of our friendship, he was there for me like not a lot of other people are. Dude, I know this isn't just a girl thing, and I know that a lot of this has to do with, I don't know, the way people are raised and sort of expectations of abuse and a lot of bad stuff. But holy shit, man. Some people are so like, I wish there was some kind of like global taser that I could activate that would just shock some sense into everyone, okay? People are very easy to manipulate if they feel like even a little bit insecure or lonely. And it's really sad. It's not just a chick thing. Like, I guess maybe I associate a bit more with chicks because I'm a guy, so I would view things from the other end in like heterosexual pairings. But yeah, I don't know. It's like so frustrating. I guess it's always going to be the case that in abusive situations, it's all so clear in retrospect, right? You know what I mean? So I gave him another chance to be friends. He told me he would prove to me he was working on being a better person, that he wanted to be in my life. Then in October, he began his typical antics, begged me to come to Texas around his son Bethon. I said no because I did not think it was appropriate to stay with him because I didn't want to sleep with him and I did not trust him. He also came to LA in December 2021, mainly only asking him to tell, due to the fact I was not interested in having sex. There was not much communication until I was at French restaurant AOC in the Upper East Side on January 30th. Two girlfriends, night. I Ubered to Rich's apartment in Williamsburg because he asked to see me. We were in the movie theater in his building and talking. He repeatedly kept attempting to get me to lay on him. I repeatedly said, I'm not here to sleep with you and I do not want that. At one point in the theater, he said, I think tonight is the last time I'm ever going to see you. After trying to speak to him for about an hour about our relationship and the awful way he treated me, he just continued to deflect and say there's no reason to talk about it because it made him feel bad. He said we couldn't stay in that room and needed to go up to his apartment per the apartment rules. I said I don't trust that, and he promised me that was the situation. What? Dude, listen, bro. It's the apartment rules, okay? You have to come up to my room, bro. Dude, my landlord's gonna have a f***ing fit. You have to get in my bed. Can you, dude? No clothes on for other people in my apartment. Come on, dude. Don't get me in trouble. Come on. That nothing would happen. It was respecting the boundary I set. We get upstairs, and he starts talking about how hot I would be pregnant. He then proceeded to jerk off in front of me while continuing to talk about how he thinks about getting me pregnant constantly. This is a tried and true tactic for getting chicks to like you. Yeah, the Louis C.K. bit. Though I don't think even he was talking about like impregnating them as well. That's cool. That's a strat. You miss all the shots you don't take. Yeah, you miss all of the jerking off in front of somebody while talking about impregnating them's you don't take, I guess. He kept begging me to have sex with him. I said no. He continually attempted to take my clothes off. I kept saying no. At the end, and I mean the very end, he rolled me over and put himself inside me and finished unprotected. Okay, I know that everyone watching this right now fully agrees with what I'm about to say, but I feel like it's important to reiterate it, okay? I feel like it's very critical to reiterate this, okay? You can just f***ing leave at any point. I'm not saying that her not leaving means that she invited any of this, because she didn't. I'm just saying, if you can leave, you know? You can f***ing dip. That's okay. You can leave. In fact, you should leave. I feel like one of there are two things that keep people from just turning 360 degrees and walking away. There are two things, okay? One of them is the threat of violence against them, especially for chicks. And the other is the threat of being labeled like a bitch. The joke is the 360 is an old 4chan joke. You say 360 degrees. It's from the old, no, it's, yes, I know, it's a joke. No, it's, The joke was like when the Xbox 360s came out, they called it 360 because you turn 360 degrees and walk away. The joke was that that's not how that works. Okay, anyway. So yeah, that meme is from like 15 years ago. Sorry. Anyway, the big tooth. Okay, look. This is especially for chicks. Okay, so like here's the difference. Everyone, for those of you who don't know, okay, especially if you're a guy, all right? Being a guy makes dating a lot easier. Because if you're a guy, the threat of violence against you is diminished significantly. It's not eliminated. Just because you're a guy doesn't mean you can't be like threatened or stabbed or whatever. You totally can. And a gun levels pretty much any playing field in terms of physical violence, but generally speaking, like if you're a guy, you are several times stronger than a chick in meaningful ways when it comes to the ability to inflict violence. And one of the best ways you can like get a feel for that is talk to any chick about like basic stuff that you can do and like get their reactions. Can I walk around my like college campus just at night and just feel fine? Can I go pick up some stuff late at night and feel fine? Can I just be outside and feel safe and be fine? I can, but I have so many female friends who like terrifying to them. Like the idea of walking around campus at night for like petrifying. This is why if you're a chick and you date guys, you know, you're very brave if you're one of those I'll go to your place first time people. Not to say that it's wrong to do that, or that if you do that and then something bad happens, it's your fault. Got to live life. The only people responsible for rapes are rapists. But, like, if I go to a chick's house, in my mind, I'm never thinking, like, how do I get out of here? Because in my monkey brain, I just think, oh, if anything's weird, I will simply run through the wall. I will simply punch the wall until there's a me-shaped hole and walk out. In my head, I assume that I can do that. I've never had to, but I assume I could. I don't think a lot of chicks think they could do that. It's an even easier thing to get a feel for, by the way, if you're bi and a guy, because some of the times that I've like hooked up with guys, the vibes are a bit different. It's not just like it's not just oh this person is larger. I feel like there's this and I don't know how much of this is like perceived versus actual, but there's like this increased imagined threat purely by virtue of me not automatically being physically stronger than them. Like equal playing field. And I tend to fuck twinks too, so I'm stronger than the guys that I've. But even then, like a twinkie guy tends to be a lot stronger than your average chick. And even that, it's like, oh yeah, well, okay. Like if for some reason the person I'm hooking up with wanted to like hurt me, you know, barring a weapon, a woman couldn't really do much. Like a Twinkie guy could still get me, you know, like they could still hurt me. This sounds like weird and stereotypical, but the reason I'm running through this is because I need you guys to understand how much shit has to go through the mind of the Tinder hookups who are women who I've had who had me over at their place, right? Like, think about that. I know I'm fine, but from their perspective, like, the, like, imagined risk of just having, like, a big guy over is... All I'm saying is that the more I date around, the more I respect the difference in perceived threat. Does this make any sense? I'm not trying to scare you guys out of dating. I'm not saying all guys are dangerous. Most aren't. You know, and I'm not saying chicks can't be dangerous because they totally can. Again, if somebody wanted to hurt you and like you're going to hook up with some like waifish chick and she just draws on you, unless you know some crazy kung fu that I don't know, I'm sorry, they've got a gun on you now. Now, how often does this happen? You hook up with somebody and then they draw on you. This doesn't happen. You know what does happen? Well, guys, girls, that does happen. It happened in this story, you know? I'm not really talking about the threat of physical violence here, because that's a huge component in why sometimes chicks don't just walk 360 degrees and leave, you know? However, guys, everything honestly, that's not true. Let's not... I don't want to make this like an anyone versus anyone. The key thing isn't who's getting raped, why, or by who or how. The key thing is like, what is the risk and what can you do to mitigate the risk? And a lot of chicks think like, If I scream and run, he'll just run forward, grab me, and me anyway, but maybe more violently. You know? That's a lot of chicks think that. That's not an entirely unjustified thought to have for somebody who's already jerking off in front of you and trying to pull your clothes off. That's not an entirely unreasonable thought. The only thing that I want to throw out there, the only thing that I want to add is, if the risk of physical violence isn't something you think is that high, if you feel like there's not much of a physical threat to you leaving, like you can, with physical safety, you can leave, I strongly encourage everyone listening, if ever this is relevant in their future, okay? I swear to God, it is so okay to be like that chick for a second. Girls are social, everyone is to an extent, but girls especially are socialized into like, be deferential. You don't want to be like a bitch. Don't be like, don't like freak out. Don't be one of those girls, especially in like gaming spaces, because in gaming spaces, especially with streamers, everyone hears stories of like those girls that will try to get people in trouble by faking stories of sexual assault or like over exaggerating. And like people think, oh, well, he's just jerking off in front of me. What if I freak out? Doesn't that make me look bad? No, it doesn't. You can just you can do whatever, screech and throw something and walk out, be a huge asshole about it forever. There are social consequences, as this chick is finding out like live, I guess. Those consequences will happen whether you get or not. Like I guess I'm just what I'm trying to get at here is that have a high opinion your ability to deal with the consequences of being that chick for one evening. Yeah, you don't owe anyone anything. I'm not trying to say that any of this went into her decision making. I'm just saying that I have a lot of female friends and I've listened to the stuff they've said, oh, why did this happen? Why did that happen? Like they were afraid of this or they were concerned about this outcome. But the social pressure plays into it a lot more than you might think, It sounds kind of like up to say. So hopefully people get what I'm trying to put down here and don't think that this is like some kind of like me minimizing or victim blaming, because it's totally not. It's just like I'm trying to think. Okay, the best way to avoid any negative connotations here is to flip the genders, okay? Because this also happens a lot. Believe it or not, though it's not as common, there are a decent number of guys who get raped by girls, which is just as bad. We're not equivocating. It's not a contest. You'll have stories of like guys who are tipsy or drunk or whatever, or they'll get like a chick will pull their dick out at a party and ride them or whatever, like that kind of stuff, Now, if you can imagine being a guy who's being like, imagine you're like drunk, like very drunk, but you're also sleepy and you're kind of coming out of being sleepy a bit, and the adrenaline's starting to wake you up from the alcohol, and you're getting there's a chick on top of you, you're inside her, you don't remember any of this shit. You're waking up to this. Now, I want you to imagine, like right off the bat, okay? If you're at a party, like there's a bunch of people out in the hallway and you're in a bedroom, I bet you that a majority of the cases in which the guy in that situation would want to put a stop to things immediately, but doesn't, is because they don't want to be seen as the guy who put a stop to things. The social consequences, like, what does this look like? What do? Do you smack her? Well, then, to everyone else's perspective, you just smack the chick who is riding you. What the like, you'll be seen as the aggressor there. Like, from everyone else's perspective, they like run in, she's naked, you're naked, and you can hear like, what the like, you beat women, or you like freak out and scream like, oh, I'm being, and then people run in and there's like a chick riding you. How many people do you think will take that seriously? If they're good people, the answer is all of them. But a lot of people don't really know how this shit goes down. So, right? And then imagine like people talking about that after, like, oh yeah, John, or wait, your name's John now. Oh yeah, John, yeah, it was a party, and then John was getting pussy in like the bedroom, and then he freaked out and started yelling that he was being raped. Like, it's a social thing, If ever you wonder, well, why would a woman not immediately start screaming and clawing or throwing shit or whatever? Keep in mind the fear of like being the person who is being victimized and fighting back against that victimization in that moment. the social stigma of resisting that, like, that is a really pervasive and, like, fear-inducing thing to a lot of people. You know what I mean? Sorry, this turned into a big ramble. I'm just trying to, like, yeah, you know? It's important that I talk about this, by the way, because depending on the average age and gender composition of chat, odds are in excess of 1,000 of the people watching will still experience a sexual assault in their life. If you want to go by how many sexual assaults total, depending on the relationships you guys get yourselves into, it could be tens or hundreds of thousands aggregated until you die. It is important to keep this stuff in mind. This stuff happens pretty frequently. Probably a lot more often than traditional assault. Are we done? Oh, yeah. Let's see. So she got... afterwards, I called my friend who I was staying with, so I couldn't come back here. She wasn't answering because it was late at night and she was already asleep. Rich said I couldn't stay there, so I called hotels around New York City looking for a cheap room. I asked the nearest subway. It was a 20-minute walk. Without saying anything to him, I left and cried in his lobby. As he texted me, "You okay?" I never replied. I left, went to a sketchy hotel in Chinatown, then processed by myself. I left New York the next day and never spoke to Rich again. I'm a 30-year-old woman in a relationship with somebody currently. I have had several relationships with people that just simply did not work out, and I still respect those people and would never make a false claim based on relationship ending. I get nothing out of lying about this. In fact, I'm almost expected to receive ridicule when speaking about sexual assault. You can believe me or not. I genuinely don't know anything. Gotcha. Please touch on the fact that a lot of people who are getting assaulted freeze up and can't think rationally to run. It's either fight, flight, or freeze. If people don't understand the fight or flight response, then here, keep in mind, 98% of you, if you were walking down the street and some like beefy guy in like a crew neck t-shirt walked up to you, smacked your latte out of your hand and said, "What?" and then kept walking, you would not respond. You would freeze. You would be like, "What? What the what? What? You've got like latte all over your shirt. What? 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 You would not. You wouldn't process that. Most people really aren't like prepared to deal with immediate threats of conflict. Vaush, I'm 6'2" and 240 pounds, and froze when a 5 foot nothing dude at a bar started kissing me out of nowhere. Yeah, it's like it's just the brain, the human, when it comes to dealing with immediate threat and conflict, you got to understand, okay? The parts of your brain that are like designed to help you respond to those situations are the same parts that those animals have, okay? Geckos. There's a lizard down there. The part of your brain that helps you like make quick decisions in times of threat or peril or stress, those are like innate animal reactions that literally everything alive has. It has to, or they wouldn't be alive for very long. The problem is these animals and us, up until we evolved more, only really had to deal with physical threats, right? Like fight or flight stuff only really kicked in when there was a tiger in a bush. You know what I mean? Like it was in response to very conceptually basic, straightforward physical threats. But nowadays, we constantly deal with fight or flight situations that are very socially contextual. Like it's totally different under those circumstances. You get what I'm talking about? It's like the the social circumstances behind anything like threat of physical violence or sexual assault from like another human, especially if you're in public or semi-public, like you're near a public area, the consequences of reacting or behaving in certain ways are tied into like a billion preconceptions that we have about the way we're supposed to act and the way others will react. And I genuinely don't think our limbic system or whatever it is developed to like effectively respond to that sort of thing. You know what I mean? It is an incredibly like difficult and complicated, you know? Sometimes people just will immediately react, but it's not always the best reaction, right? Rich Campbell leaves O.T.K. after sexual assault accusations. Whoa, well, that pretty much confirms everything she said. Speaking as a popular live streamer myself, if somebody accused me of sexual assault and the accusation was total bullshit, I probably would not immediately leave the company that I helped found. You know, that would probably not be my immediate response. Oh, was he kicked out? Didn't leave? Okay. Twitch streamer and O.T.K King co-founder Rich Campbell resigned from the company after being accused of sexual assault. Oh, he has a mischief has class fan Emery. Before the accusations arose, the Twitch streamer caught the attention of people after sharing a clip from his girlfriend Mia Malkova's Pillow Talk interview where she revealed her boyfriend had a pregnant fetish. I don't trust people with pregnancy fetish, guys or girls. You all can be mad at me if you want. I do not trust you people, okay? You are dangerous. It's okay to kink shame. I agree. The laughs didn't last long after Twitch streamer Azali Alexi confirmed Malkova's story and alleged that Campbell said he wanted to get her pregnant while assaulting her. What I thought this okay, when I hear like streamer sexually assault somebody, what I think they mean is like ass grab or like I don't know, like sexual assault. Her and then coming in her is that's technically it's also sexual assault, but you can also use the term, you know, like it's also regular assault. You could say it's an altercation. We could cop speak our way through it, but it's not even a little ambiguous in that case. What happened to 12 p.m. discussion? I haven't gotten a Discord DM. In a twit longer, she shared a disturbing account of her experience with Campbell, which involved non-consensual acts done towards Azali Alexi. Sorry, that's hard for me to pronounce off the cuff. After the accusations went viral, Campbell tweeted he resigned from O.T.K, saying he plans... So he was kicked out? Can somebody link a story or something that confirms that he was kicked out rather than resigning? He plans on sharing his side of the story. O.T.K also released a statement confirming this, emphasizing that it stands firmly against sexual assault and harassment. Here's Asman talking about it. Today we learned about allegations made against one of our founders. Rich has resigned from O.T.K immediately. Well, still, this says he resigned, not that he was kicked out. But I guess it could have been behind the scenes, you know. Others also went back to Campbell's pregnancy fetish tweet and said that it didn't age well. Okay, kink shaming aside, let's be clear. What happened here wasn't because of his pregnancy kink, right? Like, he could have had a foot fetish and been like, yeah, show me your feet while jerking out. Like, it doesn't actually have anything to do with the pregnancy fetish. That's just the fetish that he has. Oh, yeah, the Miskiff shit. Dude, Miskiff is such a scumbag. The Asmongold video? Yeah, sure. We have time, I think. You can have a pregnancy fetish without having a fetish, too. Yeah, to be clear, this might come across kind of like weird, but I think the majority of people who other people don't think they're rapists. I've said before that a huge number of rapes could be prevented by educating people on sexual assault and consent. A lot of people have no idea. Like, it's actually kind of insane when you think about it. Like, literally, like a lot of people have no idea what actually is. They think like all is like it's in an alleyway. She's like screaming. You threaten her with a knife. Like they think every is like the beginning of a like Batman comic. The opening shot where the lightning bolt silhouettes him against the sky as he descends down on the criminals. You know, they think all are conducted by racial minorities or like 8-foot tall dudes in flat caps who talk in Brooklyn accents. It's a problem.
So I think everybody's pretty much seen the allegations and everything against Rich. If you haven't, I would suggest to just check our Twitter. And
do you have 1,888 YouTube notifications? What? I should have hundreds of thousands of YouTube notifications. I never check them. Who checks YouTube notifications? What does that even mean? I've never clicked that.
You know, we've obviously addressed this ourselves. This came to our attention yesterday, and
I do. Okay,
as soon as we pretty much found out
channel.
and looked into it and saw what was going on, we had Rich resign from the org, and Rich is no longer a part of O.T.K.
Okay, we had him resign, so he was kicked out.
Effective yesterday. The reason I'm going to be talking about it, probably more than anybody else that is in the that's in the org, is because the truth is, Rich, like he said, was my friend, and I want to talk about it on a personal level, and I want to say a couple of things that I've just really got to say something about. I mean, it was a big shock to me. I think it was a shock to everybody. It's hard for me to process what's been going on. And I understand that for a lot of people, you all who might have been fans of Rich or Allcraft, you might have felt that way too.
Some people in his chat seem surprised by the was. Well, I don't think they knew if anything was confirmed, right? I want to be clear, by the way. I think you should believe victims of sexual assault or purported victims of sexual assault. However, I am against uh like social condemnation of someone just based off an accusation. Um, like this is very much a developed opinion. I have literally had 4chaners try to Photoshop Discord DMs of mine to try to implicate me in like having sexual conversations with underage people, and then like it like if VGG forensics FBI types going like, the pixels seem off on this. Like the problem is that once you're a large enough public figure, if the burden of proof is just an accusation itself, you can get anyone for anything. It needs to be a bit more than that. In this case, it looks like it is an accusation leveled by another public figure, which massively elevates. Like, an anonymous random accusation is nothing compared to, like, in terms of immediate trustworthiness from someone who's public, whose reputation is on the line. And then, like, the O.T.K team, like, dropped him, and then the way people are reacting, it seems like it's like fairly substantiated here, you know. Yeah, a public figure has way more to lose, exactly. So in this case, it seems like things are leaning pretty poorly for Rich. I guess we'll see when he makes a comment. It is always possible for this stuff to turn out to be fake, but it's worth keeping in mind that, like, that's the case for everything, you know? Uh, people are very fixated on fake accusations, even though, like, fake accusations for all crimes are roughly equal, like fake murder, fake assault accusations. You know, if odds are generally like, if you listen to people who say they've been victimized, you're probably gonna you're probably making a safe bet that you're on the right side of things.
I want to say one thing, though, before I go any farther. You are not on our team. You are not helping us. You are not doing us any favors or doing anyone any favors.
Trust but verify.
By calling a girl that comes out and tells this kind of a story a liar.
Hey, see? I
read a lot of the comments on Twitter, etc. And I saw a lot of people that were saying that it wasn't true, that she's making everything up. Please do not do that. This is... You are not our fan. You're not on our side. We are on their side. That's why Rich is gone. Do not do this. I understand trust but verify. Makes sense. Everybody deserves to get their side of the story out. But whenever you just automatically discredit one side, you're not looking for two sides. You're looking for the other side. Please do not do that. And call yourself a fan of mine or anybody in the org.
All right, I agree. Is there more substantive info?
This is not drama. This is not getting canceled.
Okay. All right, let me just...
It'll take me a while to get over this, but I will get over it. That's what's been going on. And, again, two things I want to just reiterate one more time. They know nothing about this. They have nothing to do with this. I don't want to do that because... Thank you to everybody.
Okay, yeah. So it's basically just, yeah, it's like addressing the crowd statement. It's not like new info or anything. Just want to make sure. The Skyrim music feels a bit inappropriate. I don't mind the Skyrim music. If they're dropping him so fast, do you think they kind of knew? I think them dropping him at that speed suggests a lot of plausibility to the accusations that came against him. You know, but again, like, we'll see how things play out. You know, it's not... If Rich has... Didn't he say... Hold on. Rich Campbell. On his Twitter, didn't he say that he was going to come out with a statement soon or something like that? I've read the statements made against me today. I will share my side of the story, but need time to collect my thoughts. O.T.K has requested that I resign from my... Okay, yes. And I've agreed I will make an update soon. The day before is him meme posting about the pregnancy fetish? Oh, no. Should probably delete that one, Chief. Feel like it's okay if you delete that one. He constantly memed about it. Yeah, think of how complicit all of you will feel when they finally bust my underage horse stable. You know, all those delightful jokes will turn to ash in your mouths. They'll go like, "Oh God, we enabled him the entire time." He admitted. I see he disabled comments on that tweet. I'm trying to see if there's any large... God, Twitter is such a terrible platform. Not just because of Musk or whatever, but You can't like order tweets based on likes. It's very stupid. Oh, hey, Corvus. Is Mia okay? Should I text her? Well, apparently her boyfriend's a rapist, which probably isn't great. See, I would tell you people, don't date a live streamer, okay? There's always something wrong with them. Always. Yeah, real. Don't do it. You got to be brain damaged to be a live streamer. We'll see if things develop on that front. What do I want to cap this on? Except for you? No, 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 including me. Guys, I am a terrible, terrible person to be a partner with, okay? If I wake up in the morning in a bad mood and see I have unread messages, I will just think for a second, why do I care about these people? Who cares? And then just not respond to them for a while. I ghost people constantly. There's like maybe 2 people who I do that less to, but I do it to the people I'm dating as well. Yeah, it's just I'm not. That's so mean. Yeah, well, there's nothing more frustrating than like staying up till 4 a.m. messaging somebody because you're into them or horny or whatever, and then you wake up the next morning to see you have 17 unread messages from them because the last thing you sent them was like a really like long text block, and then you pass out and they like send you back a really long text block, and you look at their text and you're like, I don't give a about this. What the? Why did I? I'm going to spend 12 consecutive hours playing video games while listening to podcasts, and then you do that. That's more autism than streamer lol. Well, autism and streaming are sort of comorbid features of a person's nature, I think. I do that while caring about them. Ah, well, it's very romantic of you.